Hello, happy full moon. I know that this full moon is really intense. There's also a lunar eclipse happening. It certainly is a lot, but with these kind of transits, it's also a lot in a good way. There's a lot of positive opportunities that are coming from this, but we need to get into the challenges and then we'll be able to embrace the great gifts of this. I've been doing a couple of readings over the last 24 hours that made me really understand how important it is to cover this. So I think it's really valuable to be thinking about this throughout today and really even over the course of the next 2 weeks, because a lot of what is present at this time is going to be also influencing us for the next 2 weeks. So I think first and foremost, the biggest thing to understand about today is fear. All of this Scorpio energy, we're all experiencing some major changes within us, but this can also be very good. But the process itself, for it to be very good, we have to understand our fears. We have to be able to face our fears, to name our fears, to be able to verbalize, saying this is what I'm afraid of and this is why. We need to be able to go deep into our subconscious. We have to let go of the conscious mind and seek to understand, what am I feeling? What am I really feeling? Not what do I want to be feeling or what do I hope to be feeling, but what am I actually feeling? And for all of us, we're all going to be facing some kind of fear at this time. The good news is, if we do this process, or if we allow ourselves to understand our fears, then we're able to grow exponentially as a result. We're able to free ourselves from serious fear blockages. Because what does fear do? It gets in our way. It stops us from moving forward. It stops momentum. It causes us to overthink things and to worry and have all these kind of negative emotions. And we can have an opportunity over the course of today to break free of these serious cycles that keep us back, that cause us to suffer and struggle. Just as an example, because I think it could be useful, I've been a songwriter for a long time, and I love collaboration. There's a place for collaboration in my life, but I've realized, even over the course of the last couple of days, it's sinking even deeper, and I've freed myself from these cycles myself. Again, naming the fear, understanding the fear, and learning how to move forward, not only despite the fear, but because of the fear. It's like, okay, so this is what I have to do. This fear is showing me how I need to be brave and push through. And the phrase comes to mind, I can't remember exactly who said it, but bravery is not the absence of fear, but courage in the face of fear. So even if we're trembling, we still move forward. We do what we need to do to be able to grow as people, to make our lives better, etc. And so as a songwriter, I have sought collaboration in a healthy sense, and in the past I've also sought collaboration in an unhealthy sense, trying to, even though I write complete compositions on my own and play drums and bass and guitar and sing and write lyrics and all these things, and I have done for a long time, I've, over the last several years, in some ways arguably for the last 13 years, I have, because of fear, focused more on collaboration, because I was afraid that I wasn't good enough, or that the music wasn't good enough that I was making. Mainly it was me. Actually, the music, I was like, oh, this music's awesome. But for me, it was like, there's that fear. So over the last day, when there was kind of a sick feeling, as I was looking at some different musical collaborators, who are potential musical collaborators, who are awesome musicians. I'm not trying to be rude or judgmental or anything, but I just had this sick feeling of like, it doesn't fit though. It doesn't really fit what I need to do with my life at this time, to continue to make music on my own, etc. So anyways, I had that sick feeling, and instead of doing what I've done in the past, which was try and make it work anyways, to be codependent, etc. I just had this feeling of, what? Fuck it. Then I'm not going to work with them. I'm not going to work with anybody. I'm going to stay focused on my own journey, my own musical journey and explorations. And yes, there is still fear there. Like, I have a lot of work to do. But I think that's what a key thing is. What a key theme with all of this is really good to keep in mind is our fear shrinks in relation to what we practically understand about ourselves, our fears about our lives, and how we manage it. So for example, that fear, maybe I'm not good enough, right? Hence why I'll try and distract myself with working with other people instead of just doing what really I should have been doing a long time ago. Just do it all myself, Okay, how do I diminish that fear? Play more music, get better, practice, really develop every part of the process. Because that is my path. I could go on and on of why and how and whatever, but at the end of the day, that's a huge part of my life. That is actually my main musical thing, is just to make music on my own. Yes, I will collaborate with other people. I love to collaborate with other people, but not as an unhealthy, codependent thing. So in understanding that fear, that helps me to understand how to work through this particular time period. And again, I think for all of us, a key thing here is the moon in Taurus. To focus on the practical, because it's very easy when you go into the depths of the emotions and the subconscious to kind of get lost there and to be like, what way is up? I don't even remember anymore. Stay focused on the practical, the grounded. This part of the full moon is actually quite enjoyable, the moon in Taurus, when we just focus on, okay, this is what I'm afraid of. I've already done the Scorpio part of this, right? We need to go deep. We need to understand the fears, be able to name the fears, etc. Cool. Okay, that's there. Great. Now the Taurus part of it. And even the Mars and Gemini part of it. What are we going to do to be able to practically, tangibly reduce that fear? So again, as my example, it's like, oh, I could just dwell in the fear all the time. Maybe I'm not good enough. Or maybe I could just devote time and energy to getting better so that confidence grows. And it helps me, it's not just a matter of skill. It's also a deep emotional thing, psychological. Again, I won't go on and on about my life. But it goes deep. And I think for all of us, to childhood and certain experiences and whatever else, etc. I won't go into it, but also because I like to be private about my family. But there's a lot more than just like, oh, am I good enough? It's like, it's deep. And for all of us, that's really what this time period is all about, because all the Scorpio energy, again, it goes to the core. So we have a choice here. Face the fears, because the fears are very present at this time for all of us. Face the fears and then focus on what's practical and tangible and productive to do in the face of the fear that uplifts us, that is a positive energy, that doesn't do harm to ourselves or others. It's all good intention, beautiful. Then that will continue to grow, your dreams, your hopes, however you want to grow yourself and with your life. That will grow and the fear will naturally shrink. And it's not just going to all happen today. Because of these particular energies with Saturn involved as well, transiting Saturn, it's we're checking in and we're really at a crossroads, like I was saying before. Do what I was saying before, right? Like face our fears, move forward, grow, evolve, and be forever changed. Be free of those fears in a way that you've never been before. Have clarity about those fears in ways that you've never had before. Or just give in to paranoia, fear, anger, frustration, say things to other people, especially with Mars, Gemini, retrograde, and just cause a lot of distraction for yourself so that you don't have to face your fear. But all the while, what's still there? The fear. At some point we have to face our fears in life. And this time period is a great opportunity to say, okay, what are they? Again, how do we manage? How do we work through them? It's not like we're trying to pretend they don't exist, but we need to recognize them and then figure out what are we going to do to progress. I think lastly, this is such a healing full moon, as much as it is quite intense. If we can get free of that fear and have that clarity and move forward, then we're able to tune into our spiritual well-being in a really beautiful way, with Jupiter and Neptune being in Pisces. And there's a great healing process that all that Scorpio is healing as well, but that Pisces energy as well. If we just face those fears, we can really heal in some amazing ways. One last thing, again, Sun and Mercury are directly conjunct to the point of forming a cazimi, which basically Sun and Mercury are just directly conjunct. So for all of us, we are focused. Our focus is like a laser. So again, we have this choice, and you'll see it with people around you, and that's good to keep in mind too. Is other people going through their stuff does not mean that you have to go through their stuff. It's their lives, their challenges, their emotions, etc. So to stay focused on your own well-being with this Sun and Mercury conjunction. And again, we have a choice. Focus on the light, on what's going to bring us to a better place in our life, even if it's uncomfortable or scary, or we have to delve into those fears, or suffer from those fears anyways and get caught in, the darkness, not being able to see what's around and whatnot, potentially for a long time to come. Again, this is a check-in point. This is a crossroads. We can always make choices later on for the light, for the better. But this is a major crossroads for all of us to be able to choose what direction are we definitively going to be going in. And it's a lot easier to just go in the right direction to start with, So, again, the fear. You master the fear through just facing it, understanding it, everything gets better. As always, I'm doing readings. I love doing readings. Info in the description, book a reading with me. Infinite love to you, my friends. Namaste. And again, even if you're watching this video after the full moon, these are themes that are going to be going on for the next 2 weeks majorly. And again, this is also, if you're watching this way later, this is a good reminder to always be making those positive choices regardless of the energies, and that will make our lives better. So it's never too late. Never too late. Never. Peace.